You may be wondering, what is sensuality? Sensuality provokes the mind rather than granting immediate gratification the way that sexual art does. The differences between sensuality and sexuality in art is that sensuality is more psychological rather than based on the physical. In Greek art, the nude are often depicted with ambiguous facial expressions or understated looks, so even though the person is completely unveiled, it is difficult to understand what they are thinking. Sensuality is able to bring pleasure by piquing the five senses. Sensuality in Greek art. Poses of nude figures in Greek art contributes to the sense of modesty and sensuality. There was a different standard of poses for the male figures and the female figures, as males would most of the time be in full nude, but the women would be portrayed with draped clothes or cloth to show more modesty.
Nudity was an important part in ancient Greek culture. There are many theories about how nudity in Greek artwork and culture came about. One of the most famous theories being that a competitor in early ancient Greek Olympics had accidentally lost his loincloth and went on to win the 200-meter sprint. However, nudity is a major part of all ancient Greek art, and not just athletic art. Nudity was a sort of costume in ancient Greek art, and was important because it has the ability to capture many different states and emotions. Athletes and war heroes seem more powerful when depicted in the nude and in a particular pose or posture. Laborers seem stronger when they are captured in nude paintings and sculptures that accentuate their muscles, and dying men are made to seem more vulnerable when they are naked. While men were often represented in the nude, females in ancient Greek art were often displayed with modest images. Praxiteles of Athens was the first to break this standard and represent a female nude body, and although this was unusual at the time, he was praised for his work. His sculpture, Aphrodite of Knidos, paved the way and influenced many different eras of art, from Roman to Renaissance art. There is even an Aphrodite of Knidos statue in the Vatican today. Venus de Milo is an excellent representation of how Aphrodite of Knidos paved the way for other female nudes in ancient Greek art. Although it is believed that Venus was originally holding something in her arms in this sculpture, she is seen as very bold, which is not something usual of females in ancient Greek art until this time. The sleeping Hermaphroditos is the son of Hermes and Aphrodites, who possesses both male and female body parts. It is meant to represent the philosophical reflections of love, rather than just the sexual nature of it. It became so popular that Roman artists actually took it upon themselves to copy this statue. In a lot of prehistoric art, female figures were representative of fertility symbols, while in ancient Egypt, nudity was mostly associated with poverty, defeat, criminal activity, slavery, and cult-like rituals. Nudity was more shameful in ancient Egypt than sensual.
Sensuality in other periods. In prehistoric times, depictions of the female form were thought to be used as fertility symbols and effigies of fertility-related gods. Many small stone statues, such as the Venus of Willendorf, have been uncovered dating as far back as 40,000 BCE. In ancient Egyptian art, much of the depictions of rulers and important people were governed by convention and changed little over the course of their history. The purpose of this was not to be pleasing or accurate. Nudity was not common, as it was shameful and usually associated with poverty. That said, there are extant relics of ancient Egyptian erotic art to which the purpose of the art is still uncertain. Nudity in the human form became more common in art during the European Renaissance. Athletic and well-built bodies that bordered on perfection were also seen as virtuous ways to depict biblical characters, and many works depict nude people in the fashion of the Greeks and Romans. Sensuality in more modern art. Sensuality in modern art can be used simply for aesthetic pleasure and can now be computer-generated in images, such as in psychedelic art. Photographs can similarly be edited with Photoshop for an idealized depiction of physical and sexual forms. Furthermore, an independent study by the Business News Daily has found that over the last 30 years, roughly 38% of advertisements for health and hygiene products have used some form of sexual imagery.